What's happening, people? Back with another reaction, back with some more Alanis Morissette as we continue to go through her 1998 album, Supposed Former Infatuation Junkie. Thank you again to Adam, as well as to Yvonne, who shared Jagged Little Pill. And the next track in the playlist is The Couch. It's obviously a very simple visual reference. I wonder whether this will be a location that has interpersonal significance, whether it's about the comfort and the physical refuge that it provides after a long day or after a hard day, after a painful day. I wonder if it's about its longevity as an artifact in someone's life in their home, and maybe the idea that it almost gets personified a bit. Either way, I don't expect any of those things, even if they are relevant, to fully encompass the meaning here or the narrative. So I will do my best to follow along. Hello, Luca. I see you back there. This is Alanis Morissette. The song is The Couch, and it's from her 1998 album, Supposed Former Infatuation Junkie.
You hadn't seen your father in such a long time. He died in the arms of his lover. How dare he? Your mother never left the house. She never married anyone else. You took it upon yourself to console her. You reminded her so much of your father, so you were banished, and you wonder why you're so hypersensitive and why you can't trust anyone but us. But then how can I begin to forgive her? So many years under bridges with dirty water. She was foolish and selfish and cowardly, if you ask me. I don't know where to begin. In all of my 50-odd years, I have been silently suffering and adapting, perpetuating and enduring. Who are you, younger generation, to tell me that I have unresolved problems? Not many examples of fruits of this type of excruciating labor. How can you just throw words around like green and heathen born? I've been fine. We may not have been born as awake as you were. It was much harder in those days. We had paper and uphill both ways. We went from school to a job to a wife to instant parenthood. I walked into his office. I felt so self-conscious on the couch. He was sitting down across from me. He was writing down his hypothesis. I don't know. I've got a loving, supportive wife who doesn't know how involved she should get. You see, his interjecting was him just calling me on my shit. Just the other day, my sweet daughter, I was driving past 203. I walked up the stairs in my mind's eye. I remember how they would creak loudly. She was only responsive with a drink. He was only responsive by photo. I was only trying to be the best big brother I could. I've walked, sometimes confused, sometimes ready to crack open wide, sometimes indignant, sometimes raw. Can you imagine I pay him $75 an hour? Sometimes it feels like highway robbery. mentally, you see, I'm getting beyond knowing it solely intellectually. I'm relinquishing your majesty. You are wise, you are warm, you are courageous, you are big, and I love you more now than I ever have in my whole life.
Wow. That was, I mean, even within the context of Alanis, who has this artful and eclectic and off the beaten path style, at least on some of her songs. Obviously, some of the tracks on Jagged Little Pill, certainly had this kind of not mainstream in a critical way, but like this 90s alternative rock sound that I think was very much, part of the musical era that it came from. But this is, again, even within her catalog, a very artful and expressive tune. Her vocal delivery, like at times on the edge of spoken word, but with these sort of halting and shifting rhythms. The storytelling, which wasn't easy to follow, I have to say. Like, I have some thoughts about the lyrics, but I don't have a big picture view of this one, other than the couch being like a psychology couch, which I didn't think of in advance, and I feel a bit foolish for not having thought of that. But the tribal, for lack of a better word, style drums that were just cycling through this track for most of the duration, but also these like pads and strings that gave it a bit of this sweep. They really created this moody sort of atmosphere, and the feeling of the song was, again, a bit dark, a bit energetic, but also like very up in your headspace. And yeah, I mean, she's talking about, and in fact, before I even go farther, I think it's from the point of view of a male. Like, because at first it was like, oh, like, she talked about having a wife. Like, obviously that can be, women can have wives too. But then it was like, oh, and, I'm, what was it, like a brother? Like, she made reference to being someone's little brother or something like that. And it's like, oh, so number one, is this written from the point of view of a character that happens to be male? Which, of course, like, that's not entirely unheard of. But when you hear an artist, a female or male artist singing, before information suggests otherwise, you're typically thinking of the narrator as, the same sex as they are. So, yeah, over the first part of the track, I was like, wait, so, like, is this, like, a female narrator? And then eventually, like, oh, wait, I think it's a male narrator. And that made me wonder, at least briefly, if this is a cover, but I'm less inclined to think that. Nevertheless, she's talking about like the passage of time, the difference between generations. She's talking about like you're in school and you have a job and then you have a wife, and then it's like she's talking about sitting down on the couch and speaking, and the therapist is like, writing down his hypotheses about her, or about him rather, and then talking about like, oh, and $75 an hour, and sometimes it can go multiple hours beyond that. And the idea of the couch as being the location where you're like trying to process and speak to the realities and experiences you've known more incidentally and also over the longer sweep of time. So that seems to be the central like linchpin of the track, but there were references again to like other people in her life, or his life rather, and again like a larger timeline than I know what to do with on a first listen. So one that I'll have to hear again and try to digest more of, and obviously let me know if you have some insights. But again, I just love the vibe and the atmosphere of this tune, sort of dark with, again, sort of these tribal drums, but with these melodic textures that made it very artful. And again, at times like more syllabic in her delivery, at times like stretching words or saying them so that they're sort of spoken word, but also with like a rhythm that is more typical of like singing. So yeah, very dynamic vocal performance, and maybe a bit lower key. Is that she's not belting or doing some of those extensions that I've heard her do on some of the tracks on Jagged Little Pill, certainly. So a really interesting one. I very much enjoyed it. Let me know what you think, and Luca and I will see you next time. Peace.